Hi, my name is Pat, and this is my channel, Book Chat with Pat, and I'm glad that you're here. Today I'm doing an absolutely brilliant tag that was created by my good friend Gavin at Genre Books. This is the Tag de France. This is an original tag that Gavin created to celebrate the Summer of Sport reading event and also the Tour de France 2024. Gavin designed these prompts to correspond with various parts of the race, and it is just absolutely brilliant. Please forgive me for the ways that I am inevitably going to butcher the French. And Gavin says that you give yourself bonus points if the book that you pick for a prompt is French. Okay, here we go. Prompt number 1, Le Grand Depart, a memorable preface, introduction, or opening line. Okay, so I had a very memorable opening line of George Orwell's 1984. This is the opening line. It was a bright, cold day in April, and the clocks were striking 13. So we know right off the bat that we're in a very unusual world. So that's a very famous opening line to a novel. I also wanted to share a very famous opening line of a poem, a very famous poem, John Milton's Paradise Lost. This epic poem begins, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world, and all our woe, with loss of Eden, till one greater man restore us and regain the blissful seat, sing heavenly muse. Okay, and I also had a preface, and that is William Wordsworth. Forgive the appearance of this book. William Wordsworth wrote a very famous preface to his book called Lyrical Ballads, which is actually a poetry collection that he wrote with Samuel Taylor Coleridge. But the preface to the Lyrical Ballads is considered a major piece of 19th century literary criticism, because in it Wordsworth kind of defines what a poet is, what the job of a poet is, what the appropriate subject matter for a poet is. And he also made the famous statement here, for all good poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. And this kind of kicked off the Romantic era in poetry. I mean, he's considered the father of Romanticism, British Romanticism. So, very important preface. Okay, I'm not going to do that with every prompt. We're going to move this along. Number 2, Maillot Vert, a book under 150 pages. Well, I picked the book I'm reading for Rocket Summer, H.G. Wells, The Time Machine. And this is 125 pages. So that counts. Okay. Number 3, King of the Mountains, a book that you persevered with and are glad that you did. Well, right now I am persevering yet again with James Joyce's Ulysses. This is my 3rd read of this novel. I think the first time I read it might have been, it was early in college, and I don't think that went particularly well. The second time I read it was in graduate school, and that was a very powerful reading experience. And now I'm reading it again with a wonderful group hosted by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics, and Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads. And it's rough going this third time, but giving up is not an option. Okay. Number 4, Maillot Jaune, a book where yellow is prominent. So the first thing that came to my mind was Charlotte Perkins Gilman, The Yellow Wallpaper, and I can't find my hard copy of it. I know it's on my Kindle somewhere, but I did have a copy of the National Book Award winner, The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broom. And this is a memoir, and it won the National Book Award for Nonfiction in 2019, I believe. So, yellow, very, very prominent. Okay. Number 5, Lanterne Rouge, a book you were late to. Well, I talked about this a great deal in, I guess, the month of April, and that is Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. I believe I am the last person on earth to finish this book. I came to this book really late. Everybody, in the group that, just about everybody, I think, in the group I was in discussing this seemed to be on a second or third reading of this, or a 10th reading of this, and it was my first read. I have never seen the musical, I've never seen any of the movies, and I had never attempted the book. So I really felt like I was really late to the game, and I did love this book. Okay. Another one that I feel like I'm very late to the game is Stephen King's The Stand, which is a book that I'm going to read this summer, as part of the Big Books of Summer event sponsored by Sue Jackson. This is another one. I feel like, whenever I talk about this in any of my videos and everybody tells me how wonderful it is, I am the only person alive who hasn't read this book yet. Hopefully this summer I will take care of that. Okay. All right, moving along here. Number 6. I'm not sure how you say this, but I think it's or category. And that is, what is the hardest book that you've read or failed to read? I'm going to come back to Ulysses. As I said, I have read this already, and I am reading it again. It's very difficult. I don't remember struggling this much the second time I read it. I remember being totally engrossed and immersed in it, engrossed by it, immersed in it. I'm finding it very difficult this third time around. Failure is not an option. I will finish this book. I'm already on chapter 15, so how could I not finish this? But it's difficult. Okay, number 7, Endurance, your favorite series. Well, I've talked about this in a bunch of videos too, but I absolutely adore Louise Penny's Inspector Armand Gamas series. I think we're up to book 19 right now. I'm nowhere near book 19. I think I'm on 9 or 10. I've got a ways to go, but I adore this series, and I most certainly will endure. I will keep going. Okay. Number 8, Champs-Élysées, your favorite Paris novel. Probably, I have a couple here too. I think I was about 18 when I read Zola's L'Assommoir about the slums of Paris in the late 1800s, and I fell in love with this book. and I probably should read this again. But I just remember this being a very, very powerful experience. I think I read it in my freshman year of college, so a very, very long time ago. And I don't know that I ever revisited it in graduate school. I don't think so. Just looking at my handwriting where I wrote my name in the beginning, I think I was about 17 or 18 when I read this. This is the copy that I read in college. And then also, The Sun Also Rises. This is one of my two favorite Hemingway novels, the other being A Farewell to Arms. This is a famous novel about expatriates, and a big part of it takes place in Paris. Some of it takes place in Pamplona also, but I think I first read this when I was in the 10th grade, and it was one of those books that made me know that I was going to be a reader, that I was going to study literature, probably in college. This was one of those books that had that effect on me. And we might as well throw in Les Miserables again too. That's a pretty powerful book about Paris as well. And then number 9, Lance Armstrong. Have you ever cheated with a book to get to the end quicker? If this is referring to, skipping chapters just to get to the end, I can't think of a book where I've done that. I mean, somewhere in my life I must have done that, but nothing is coming to mind. That would be a very rare experience if I had done that. There certainly recently have books that I have decided not to get to the end of, but I don't know that that's cheating. That's just putting aside. So it's not saying I read the book, it's saying I choose not to read the book. So I can't think of anything for that one. I mean, there must have been something in college that I couldn't read or didn't read. But it probably wasn't a book that I was reading for an English class. It probably was something that I was reading for, math, maybe. Okay, number 10, The Team. Tag some people. Okay, I'm going to tag a lot of people. I would really love to see this tag take off. Gavin did a great job. This is a really creative, original tag. So here we go. I'm tagging Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club, Renee at Beyond Books, whenever you can do this, Renee, if you want to. Nikki at My Messy Bookshelf, Josh at Joshua Crebo Reads, Chris at Chris's Reading Corner, Stuart Griffin, Becca Reads, Brindis, daughter of Gunner, Sue Jackson, Nicole at Noteworthy Fiction, Elizabeth at Bookins and Books, and she will know how to pronounce the French. And Elizabeth, forgive me, please. I apologize. Elaine at Cobalt Dragon, Reiner at Reiner Books. I think he also will know how to pronounce the French correctly. Chaz at Bookish Chaz, Will Chambers, Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, James at Quaint and Curious Volumes. James, if you haven't already been tagged on this, I'm not sure about that. Melinda at A Web of Stories, Jack at Spread Book Joy, Cliff's Dark Gems, Jess Book Girl TV, and Steve Donahue. And anybody else who's watching this who would like to do this, I think this was just a brilliant tag. And here we are in summer of sport, so this is a perfect tag for right now. So, as always, I thank you for watching. I hope that you're doing well. I'll speak with you again soon. Take care.